Hey y'all, happy Memorial Day. If you celebrate, I guess we all should be celebrating the troops. Maybe not necessarily the politics, but definitely the troops. So happy holiday. If worst case scenario, happy extra day off for everybody. So we're going to get started in a little bit. I don't like to start too early because by 6:03, y'all know I am into it. And then some people are like, wait, I missed too much. Hey, I don't know who Shay Love by Jess is, but hey, how are you, my dear? Thank everybody for joining in. I'm so excited to talk to you all about this. This, believe it or not, is literally my passion. And I know so many of you ladies don't get the proper information when it comes to PCOS. So today you're going to get the jam. You're going to get people come out of state to hear me talk about this. You're going to get the everything today. So please have an ink pen ready. Please have your paper ready. I'm going to try and speak slow enough, but normally what I do is this is something that I do in the office. I do a full consult in the office. I literally make people come in for this. I don't do telemedicine because I'm very visual with it. So I'm going to try and kind of paint a story for you guys. Like I said, I'm very visual. So I'm going to try and paint a story so that you can follow and you can understand. When it comes to the treatment, I'm going to be sure that you're clear on the treatment, but I'm not going to say too much. And the reason is I don't care. I wish every doc, I miss you too. I wish every doc would join in and figure out how to appropriately treat you ladies. The problem is that they do join into my stuff, but they bastardize it a little bit. And then in the spirit of having you guys think that they're doing what they're supposed to do, they're really not. So at the end of the day, I don't want anybody to be hurt by somebody who's not truly understanding and not understanding the labs properly and not understanding the medicine properly. So once we get down to it, I'll make sure you understand the treatment and the management, but I will not go into steps about my treatment. Okay. All right. So it is now 6:02. A lot of you have joined, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm coming to you today to talk about PCOS, which is better known as polycystic ovary syndrome. And it really is a misnomer. It has almost nothing to do with your ovaries. Okay. Interestingly enough, it is a misnomer. Okay. If you guys don't understand what that means, it's something that's named for something, but it kind of really doesn't have to do with that something. Okay. And again, I was just very, very lucky where I trained. It was hell, but up in Philly, shout out to Hahnemann. And anybody who knows about Hahnemann, trained at Hahnemann, or any of the nurses, shout out to y'all. Love y'all still. But I trained under one of the gurus of PCOS treatment and management, Dr. Shahab Manassian. And PCOS, really interestingly enough, he really only did it for like rich people, for fertility and for things like that. And once I started like paying attention, and Shahab was a little colorful. He was a little different. So the rest of the residents were kind of like, whatever. They really weren't paying attention to him, but I was taking it as an opportunity to learn. And when Shahab would treat these people, I'm like, well, they would be the insured people or the people who were paying cash. It wasn't the underserved people. So when I learned it to perfect my skills, I took it to the resident clinic where all of the underserved people were, or the people with Medicaid. And people start getting pregnant, left and right and losing weight and feeling better and all of these things. And I realized I had something. I realized I had it. And it's so funny because he said to me, I'm going to need you to slow down because all the damn patients are going to start coming over to the resident clinic to you because you're cheaper. And I'm like, when the whole guru is telling me you got it, then you got it. So this is where I come from, and I'm very confident in my management and my treatment of PCOS. Okay. So, and any of my patients, and plenty of them are on here, any of them can let you know, oh, I got the secret sauce, baby. Now, the PCOS, the management and the treatment is simple, but it's not easy. Okay. That's what I always tell my patients. This is simple, but it is not easy. All right. Let me explain what it is. First of all, many people would have you think that PCOS is a disorder, is a GYN disorder. PCOS is not a GYN disorder. It is a disorder of your metabolism. Interesting. It is a disorder of your metabolism, not a GYN disorder. Now, it has GYN symptoms. It has GYN fallout. It has GYN complications, but it is not a GYN disorder. This is why a lot of you don't get resolution when some ignoramus tells you take a birth control pill. That's wrong. That's all the way wrong. That's never going to be right. It's all the way wrong. Okay. So imagine this, and this is where I kind of start to get visual. Let's say somebody with a normal metabolism eats a piece of cake. Okay. Let's just say, boom, blood sugar goes up to 100, just random numbers. Okay. Your body says, well, damn, blood sugar is kind of high. So your body makes some insulin. That insulin goes into your cells, and your cells drop your blood sugar to 50. That's normal metabolism. That's generally how it works in a nutshell, right? When you have PCOS, a little bit different. You eat that same piece of cake. Your blood sugar goes up to that same 100. Your body says the same thing. Make some insulin, but your cells look different. If you've ever heard of insulin resistance, bingo, that's you. Your cells look different. Okay, your cells are resistant to the insulin. It says, no, I'm not going to use that insulin. I'll use half of the insulin you're making, but I'm not going to use that insulin. I don't want to. Nothing you can do about it. Is how God made you. And what ends up happening? Your blood sugar only comes down to, let's say, 75. And so your body says, that's not right. She's not diabetic. That's not right. Make some more insulin. And your body says, I told you, I'm only using half. And so now that 75 has come down to 50, which is the normal number. But unlike other people, you've used double the amount of insulin to get to the same result because your cells are resistant to the insulin. So because you've used double the insulin, like you'd be like, well, what's the problem? Because diabetics need insulin. Like, I got all this extra insulin. What's the problem? Well, have you ever heard your grandma or your mom say too much of anything is a bad thing? These are facts. So when you have too much insulin, a lot of things happen in your body. You ready? Okay. A lot of things happen when you have too much insulin. And you have too much circulating in your body because you have to make double the amount to get the same response that normal people get. So you say, well, what happens with all this insulin? What is my body doing with all this insulin? Well, I'm going to tell you. The first thing is you're fatigued, just tired. Just tired for no reason. You will watch a 30-minute program just because you don't want to get up and get the remote. Just tired. You want to exercise. Your brain tells you to exercise. You need to get up and walk. Your body just will not do it. You're just tired. Just tired. Okay, so that's one of the first, just tired. Okay, the second thing is you have cravings. Those cravings are carbohydrates. That's going to be rice. That's going to be pasta. That's going to be grits. That's going to be French fries. That's going to be chips. That's going to be cake. That's going to be cookies. Why? Because you have so much extra insulin. Well, what does insulin eat? Insulin eats sugar. So your body is constantly saying, give me sugar, give me sugar. It is like a chemical reaction that is happening in the brain. It's not even anything you can really control. And you don't even really notice it. You're constantly wanting to nibble on a sugar, a carb, anything that breaks down into sugar. Because carbs are just things that breaks down into sugars. So you can, and even fruit. People say, I love fruit. I love fruit. Great. Fruit is great, but fruit is full of sugar. It's natural sugar, but it's still sugar. And your body will take whatever sugar it can get. Okay. So you have cravings. So first of all, we're tired as crap and we have cravings. Now, what else do we have with PCOS? We have weight gain. Now, people will say, yeah, it's because you're not exercising, you're eating all the carbs. And it has a little bit to do with it. But really, when you have insulin, it's a known fact, it's biochemistry. Y'all ain't got to know this. That's why I'm telling you. When you have insulin, wherever you have insulin, you have growth factor. It's a hormone called growth factor. So the worse your PCOS gets, the more insulin you make, the fatter you get. And it ain't a whole lot you can do about it. You can diet, you can do this, you can do this. But at the end of the day, until you truly understand what's happening in your body, like I'm explaining, and I'm going to teach you how to fix it. Until you truly understand what's happening in your body, you're going to get bigger and bigger. And the weight gain with PCOS is very, very interesting because it's 5 pounds and then it's 7 pounds. And then it's another 10 pounds. And it's like you really can't sink your teeth into anything. But if you look at yourself now versus looking at yourself 2 or 3 years ago, you're like, damn, I look like a whole different person. I mean, I aged a little bit, but I'm not eating any worse. I'm even going to the gym now. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. This is why. It's your insulin is increasing because your PCOS is worsening. And therefore, your weight is increasing because you have more growth hormone. Sucks, doesn't it? But we're going to get to the bottom of it. Now, another thing, and this is the reason it gets a little complicated. The next one is a little complicated. This one, I bust out the pen on y'all. This is the reason. The next one is the reason why everybody thinks it's a GYN issue. Okay? Now, you know the Bible says, I'm not pushing anything on anybody. It's the easiest way for me to explain it. The Bible says from Adam came Eve, right? From male came female. However you want to say it, you don't want to accept that. I really don't care. All women start out with male hormone called testosterone. If you can imagine walking over a bridge, right? So you got this male hormone, you walk over the bridge and it gets converted to a female hormone, right? Well, when you have too much insulin, that drawbridge, the bridge shuts down. You cannot make that transition. Okay. So you get a crap load of testosterone and only a little bit of estrogen. Well, that's a problem. So when you only have a little bit of estrogen, and this part serves for about maybe 80% of PCOS patients, not 100%, but 80% of PCOS patients, you don't have enough estrogen to drive the menstrual cycle. So you have abnormal periods. Some months they come, some months they don't come. You could live 2 or 3 months without a period because the lining got so big because you didn't have a period for 3 months. Then boom, all of a sudden you have a period and it's a period from hell. And you're like, I've been bleeding for 16 days and blah, 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 blah. Okay. That is why people think it's a GYN problem. Also, when you have this abnormal bleeding or when you have abnormal periods and when you're not driving through a full normal menstrual cycle, you're also not ovulating. So if you're not ovulating, what does that mean? That means that you can't get pregnant. Slow down because it's not anything permanent. We can fix that too. Okay. But essentially, we call that anovulatory bleeding, where you're not ovulating normally, you're not menstruating normally, okay? So that is why people think it's a GYN. And then you say, I don't have a period. The first thing your gynecologist does is an ultrasound, which is legit what they should do, right? So with that being said, then they take a picture of your ovaries. And then around your ovaries, they say, oh, you got all these cysts on your ovaries. Well, hold on, let's fix the language. Those are not cysts, those are what we call follicles. Every month, your period, it looks like a little pearl. And normally what would happen, an egg ruptures out of there and then it goes into your tubes and it sits there and waits to be fertilized. If it's fertilized, you get pregnant. If it's not fertilized, you go on and have a period, right? Well, what happens is because you don't have enough estrogen to fully take these follicles, as we call them, to a full menstrual cycle, they collect around your ovaries. Your body eats them back up, but they collect around your ovaries. So when they look at it, they say, oh, you got a lot of cysts on your ovaries. So that's where the term polycystic ovaries came from, but it really doesn't have anything to do with the actual disorder. What do we do about those cysts? Again, doctors who are terribly ignorant, what do they say? Oh, you need to be on birth control pills because you have ovarian cysts. You don't have ovarian cysts. You have immature ovarian follicles that never came to maturity because there was not enough estrogen because there was too much insulin. I hope y'all picked all that up because I sure did just spill the tea. Now, how do you deal with that? Your body eats them up. Your body just reabsorbs those cysts. Those follicles. Nothing really for you to do. Okay? Nothing to do. All right? The only thing that you can actually do is fix the disorder, which we're going to get to soon. Now, you say, okay, so I don't have a little bit of estrogen. Now it explains my periods. Now let me explain the other thing. Okay, because y'all can wax it, y'all can laser it, y'all can do whatever you want to do. But when y'all got acne around this beard line, or y'all got hair around this beard line, or hair on that chin, hair around your boobies, hair that extends all the way out to your thighs from the vagina, that's because your testosterone levels are high. Okay. Also, you get acne. Also, you can have thinning of the hair, or super dry hair, or a little balding of the hair. All of those things are because your testosterone levels are high. Y'all ready? Yes, stomach. Yes. Yes, stomach. Yes. So y'all ready for this one? Y'all ready? Okay. Here it is. And I lost my damn train of thought. That was crazy. So here it is. So you got your acne, you got your thinning hair. You may even have those edges might not be because of them lace fronts. It could be because of the PCO. Okay. Strong body odor. Now, that does not mean you're going to stink. Hair on the back too. Yes, baby. That does not mean you're going to stink. It means that, you actually have women who can wear deodorant 2 or 3 times a week, and they do it because they feel like it's an increased risk of breast cancer and blah, 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 blah. Okay. But if you're a PCOS patient, that is not your ministry. That is not your ministry. Okay. Your ministry is wearing deodorant every day. I'm going to need you to get in the shower every day and put on some deodorant, or you're going to smell real aggressive. Okay. So that's that. All right. Now, here's the conundrum. Here's the kicker. And we're going to get into this when we talk about the treatment. But I want to hit y'all with a little something else while we're talking about all this extra testosterone. All y'all women out there who are broad-backed, wide shoulders, you are a PCOS patient 9 times out of 10. Y'all ever see those people at Target? And no offense, shout out if you one of them. We can get you together too, kind of, sort of. But you ever see they like a size 36 up top and then they like a size 2 down bottom? That's testosterone levels. And I'm going to tell you how to prevent worsening that at the gym, because 9 times out of 10, your trainer is worsening that. Okay, but we'll get to that. Okay. So, yes, you do pick up that extra testosterone. What do you pick up? You pick up that belly, because what do men pick up? They have a belly, a gut. So that is part of PCOS as well. That is part of that extra testosterone. And then understand, too, that the belly, all abdominal fat, that belly fat is carbs. And again, as a PCOS patient, that is what you crave. Right? So between the testosterone levels and you craving carbs and you taking in carbs, oh baby, you got that whole midsection. You got that all locked down. Okay. So that is essentially another physical sign of PCOS is darkening of the skin. Okay. If you have darkening around, or usually this is allergies, but if you have just a generalized darkening of your skin, darkening of your neck, darkening under your breast, and a lot of times that skin can be thick too, but you thought it was your underwire, right? Darkening under your armpits, what you thought was your deodorant, darkening of your inside thigh, which you actually thought was because your thighs rubbed. And usually PCOS patients kind of got a crease across their tummy, darkening of that crease across your tummy. All of that is actually insulin. That's where the insulin lives. Insulin lives in your skin. Bam. How about that? There's some tea for you. Sip on it. Now, y'all got it? You understand why you have the symptoms that you have, the hair growth, the acne, the broad shoulders, the stomach, the weight gain, why you're craving carbs, why you got the dark neck. And y'all going to leave the memes. I laugh at them too, y'all. But the memes on Instagram that talk about, the cousin with the black neck and the small ponytail. She got a problem. Leave that alone. That's PCOS all day. Don't do that, y'all. So those are the signs and symptoms of PCOS. Okay, that is, and now you understand why PCOS came to be. So some people say, well, why is it me and not anybody else? It's just how God made you. Some people can sing, some people can dance, some people are smart, some people are pretty, not everybody, but some people are a little strong. So it's how God made you. And, it is what it is. The good part is that 9 times out of it's fixable. It's fixable. Okay, let's just be clear. It is fixable, but I'm going to be also clear for my patients who know that they have PCOS and are not ready to be in treatment or don't want to be in treatment. If left untreated or undiagnosed, 100% of the time, PCOS will become diabetes. And unfortunately, there's been a lot of ladies who spent so many years telling doctors that something was wrong with them, and people ignored them and put them on birth control pills, and they didn't listen to them. And by the time they get to me, they're already diabetic. Yes, there's still some things we can do, but trust me, it is way better if we get in front of this thing. Way better for your life, your health, your fertility, the whole 9 yards. Okay. So at the end of the day, now you understand PCOS. All right. And understand every PCOS patient is not going to look the same. Let me be very careful. Very clear. Every PCOS patient, is not abnormal, does not have abnormal periods. Every PCOS patient is not obese. They all look different. Some people, you may see a person who's skinny, but has that acne and has that, that chin hair, that, broad shoulder, broad back. Everybody doesn't look the same. People in general don't look the same. So neither does every PCOS patient. It does have a look. Okay, which I can literally be walking down the street and she has PCOS, she has PCOS, she has PCOS. I can point it out. But at the end of the day, having it, okay, it is what it is, but let's fix it. Okay. Now, fixing it, my part is diagnosing it. Okay. And then my part is educating you on how to fix it. All right. But you can do as well with PCOS as you want to. I have some patients who rock out. They rock out. Okay. And then I have some patients who come and see me every month, because I follow my patients monthly. Those people who put y'all on stuff and then don't see y'all ever again, or only see y'all once a year, that's crazy. I see my patients once. I give them 5 weeks. I give you that little 1 week to mess up and then kind of get yourself together. Okay. And then come on back. But I see my patients every 5 weeks, depending on how you're doing. Sometimes I go to 8 weeks. But I see you on the regular basis. And I get some people who don't do a damn thing they supposed to do. It's been 3 years. They say they're going to start every month and they don't start. I think they just enjoy coming to talk to me, and I enjoy coming to talk to them too. Okay. But that you can do as well as you want. So now let's talk about the treatment. Okay. I call it my PCOS triangle. So you can make a triangle on your paper if you want to. Okay. And this is how I explain it to people when they come into the office. And I saw your question, Jess. I'm going to get to that. But we had this full consult before. But I'm going to go ahead through it with you again, because you just don't want to do what you're supposed to do. But again, so make a triangle on the paper, because, again, this is what I do when I see my patients. Okay, when I first diagnose you. So the easiest thing to talk about is exercise. Okay, you heard me say earlier in this live that because your insulin levels are high, your testosterone levels are high, right? Okay. So most of you, because if you're responsible and you have a trainer because you're like, this weight is getting out of control, I need to get this weight under control. The sad thing is, I ain't even gonna lie, and this is not a shout out to trainers, and I actually am probably gonna do an educational program to teach trainers how to train PCOS patients. Okay. But essentially, so you have a trainer. Okay. So most trainers are not skilled, degree, certified, or any of the above. They went to the gym. They got a good body. People start saying, can you train me? And they did. Okay. But even if they are, unfortunately, just like in most medical schools and medical residencies, PCOS is not, it's 2 or 3 pages and people just don't understand it. And so, like I tell my patients, when I told you that you had elevated testosterone levels, yeah. So what happens when you weight train? Your testosterone levels are worsened. It exacerbates them because your testosterone levels are high. What happens when you weight train? You get husky under the fat, by the way. You get husky. Okay. So the reality is you're going to the gym. You got this trainer who's saying you got to build the muscle to burn the fat, right? That's what they all say. You got to build the muscle to burn the fat. And then you got an arm day, and then you got a leg day, and then you got a core day. I ain't mad at your core day, but you got an arm day, a leg day, and a core day. But all of that is weight training. But again, I told you that because you have male level of testosterone, your body distribution is going to be of male, like a male shape. So that means you're going to be wide up top and narrow down bottom if you continue to weight train. Okay, so for PCOS patients, I encourage cardio, I encourage resistance, I encourage HIIT. If you do train like with dumbbells, ankle weights, no more than 10 pounds. So if you feel like you got to get your weight training in, fine, do 10 reps of 10 with 10 pounds. So you still get your 100 reps in, but you don't get that male body distribution, which you have to be very, very careful of. And a lot of women, what am I trying to say? Oh, Lord have mercy, I lost my train. I thought I was reading somebody's comment. And a lot of women feel like, oh, well, I got to weight train. You really don't. And then people get discouraged when it's like you're going to the gym. You're like, my shirts are getting tighter. My clothes are getting tighter. Like, I'm not winning. Like, I'm going to the gym and I'm eating right. So you think, and we'll get to that, because eating right for the everyday population is not eating right for you. I'm eating right, I'm exercising, and I'm still gaining weight. And then they're like, the hell with it. If I'm going to gain weight, I might as well eat whatever I want and drink whatever I want. Well, that's why. Because again, your body is asking you for a certain thing based on what it's doing. And you can respond or not. But like I said, it's going to be resistance. It's going to be HIIT. It's going to be cardio. A lot of times they are classes, or you're just working on your own. It doesn't necessarily require a trainer. I'm not trying to hate on any of the trainers. I'm really not. Like I said, I want to come out with the program because sometimes people need the discipline of a trainer. You just don't need the program that the trainer is giving you. So not hating on a trainer, but just understand that. And if you're going to do weights, please keep your weights light. I recommend working out 3 to 4 times a week, at least 45 to 60 minutes. Okay. It's HIIT, HIIT. I think it's high impact interval training. So somebody asked, was it HIIT or HIP? No, it's HIIT, HIIT, high impact interval training. Okay. So that is the exercise portion of it. Okay. Now the food portion of it. Now understand, yes, HIIT. Now understand, I purposefully said food. I did not say diet. Okay. And the reason is because it's not a diet. Your body. Okay. Imagine if you were allergic to peanuts. Would you eat peanuts? If you were allergic to pineapples, would you eat pineapples? So your body, unfortunately, this is probably one of the worst fates ever, but your body is basically saying you are allergic to sugar and carbs. So don't eat it. Okay. Now, again, I didn't say this was easy. I said it was simple, not easy. So when I recommend this to patients, I usually will tell you no sugars, no carbs. So you're going to do great with the paleo diet. You're going to do great with the keto diet. Now, I want to put a star next to this keto diet. I really don't shout people out too much unless I do really believe that they're worth it. But I want to put a star next to this keto diet for a couple of reasons. Okay. Because when people say keto, for some reason they think cheeseburgers and chitlins and anything else fattening that you can find. That is not the keto diet. Okay. Keto diets are healthy fats and, different things like that. Like I'll say to my patients, oh, I did the keto diet before. I say, oh, really? What were your macros? And then everybody kind of looks to the side like, what the hell are macros? You didn't do the keto diet. So your macros basically says how much protein, how many carbs, but different carbs, how much protein, how much carbs, how much fat, how much this, what is it that you need daily so that you are losing appropriately or so that you are eating appropriately to get to your goals. If you all are on Instagram, if you are actually interested in doing a healthy keto diet, you want to go to Glam Lux Studios. On Instagram, she's Glam, GLAM, Lux, LUXE, Studios, STUDIODIOS. Her name is Joy. Joy calculates your macros. She checks in on you. I love her, but that child can talk. That's why I be like, Joy, I can't talk right now. But she checks in on you. She gives you exercises, like not physical exercises, but exercises to do to kind of get your mind right. While embracing keto, she calculates your macros. She even puts together like your meal plan. Like she has you doing intermittent fasting. She says meal 1 at this time. This is what you eat. Like you really can't fail. People are cheap and don't want to do it, but that's fine. That's your choice. But at the end of the day, it really is a way so that you don't fail. because it's not easy. We take in so many carbs. You'd be surprised. How to read a food label is not easy. Like, she had to teach me, like, net carbs are different than total carbs. You look at the back of the thing, you're like, oh, the total carbs are, but that's not actually the net carbs. That's not actually what you're eating. It's way more than the total carbs. So keto diet, paleo diet, if you can't afford to do that, you don't really feel like putting the energy or stress into it, what I tell people is meats and veggies. If you don't eat meats, whatever protein you eat, protein and veggies. Pescatarian, great, seafood and veggies, okay? But no rice, no pasta, no grits, no potatoes, no oatmeal, no bread, none. Somebody was like, well, I usually tell people, don't eat anything white. And somebody was like, well, I had some bread, but it wasn't white. I'm like, you really trying my patience? No bread at all. Like, bread is the devil. Like, I'm sorry, bro, as the young kids say. I'm sorry, bro. Bread is the devil. Okay. Also, there are sugars and a lot of stuff that we don't pay attention to, like our sauces, like our ketchups, our barbecue sauces. Be very careful with that stuff. Red wine. People think, oh, red wine is heart healthy. Yeah, it's heart healthy, but it got a bunch of sugar in it. And all of y'all who's sitting home drinking bottles and bottles of red wine, you notice your yeast infections increase too, haven't you? Yeah, because it's full of sugar. So be very mindful of that. I tell my patients, make sure you're drinking alkaline water. If you just want a quick juice fix, go ahead on and have some Crystal Light. If you know, some people are like, girl, I just need the burp. I just need some carbonation. Sparkling ice is at the grocery store, and that is a sugar-free soda. They kind of have the flavors that mimic Fanta. Like, they have the black cherries and the orange and the grape and the Sprite flavor, the lemon lime, and I think they have a ginger ale flavor. So they have those flavors that mimic. If you want to do diet soda, that's fine. I'm just not a fan of diet soda. You know, I won't forget that article where they said aspartame caused cancer, so I'm not really with it. But if you want to shoot a little Mio in your water, whatever. Some people don't need that. They're okay drinking water. Great. But that is what you need to do. Now, when it comes to fruits, okay, that's another biggie. Because remember when I said that people eat a lot of stuff thinking that it is healthy? You know how many people I get who say, oh yeah, I have my smoothie in the morning. What's in it? Kale. Oh, I'm like, okay, what else? Coconut water. Okay, great. You're doing good. Bananas. Watermelon. Yeah, no. So when you are PCO, or when you're on a carb-free diet, the only fruit that you can actually have are berries. That's strawberries, that's blackberries, that's raspberries, that's blueberries. All you can really eat are berries. Okay? Now, dress it up however you want. I will give you this, that a great sugar substitute is monk fruit. It does not have an aftertaste. It's not disgusting. It's better than Splenda. It's better than stevia. And it is plant-based. It's called monk fruit. Okay, so monk fruit is the jam. I'm going to say that's my jam. If I need to do something with sugar in it. And sometimes, you know, it is what it is. I will tell you, though, again, even if you don't want to go keto, then, you know, follow those keto pages on Instagram. Like, use Instagram for stuff other than getting in other folks' business. Okay, follow those keto pages, because they will really give you a lot of ideas on how to cook things, like how to make different, like one of my favorite things, because I try to stay away from carbs. I'm not always successful, but I do try to stay away from carbs just in general, just because of health purposes. One of my favorite things is like pork rinds. I know some of y'all fancy. They got turkey rinds now and chicken rinds if you don't eat pork. They got pork rinds with the queso cheese, and then you can kind of load them up. So it's like having loaded nachos, but it's with pork rinds instead of nachos. So, you know, there's a lot of different things that you can do that will satisfy you. Like I tell people, you can still go out with your friends and have wings. You just can't have wings and fries. You got to have wings and a salad, sugar. Go ahead and eat that celery and them carrots. You don't have the fries with the friends, okay? You can't do that. I don't care if you at Slutty Vegan. Them potatoes too. Them is real regular potatoes. You can't have them. So it's just a modification. You have to understand, to get where you want to be, to get your body to stop overproducing all of this insulin, you have to stop taking in the carbs and the sugar to give your body all of this extra insulin. So it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? You have a lot of insulin, so it's making you want carbs, but the more carbs you eat, the more insulin you make. And it's just a vicious cycle where you kind of just have to take control and just shut it down and just stop. No, I said I love Slutty Vegan. Shout out to sis. I love Slutty Vegan. I'm just saying stay away from the french fries. I don't give a damn where the french fries come from. I'm not just talking McDonald's french fries or Chick-fil-A french fries, all the french fries. Okay. All right, great. So you just have to be very, very mindful and intentional to say, I want better. I want my life to change. Like, I need to feel better. I need to not feel tired. I need to lose this weight. I need to have energy. I need to have clarity of my thoughts. I need my periods to start to regulate. You have to want that more than you want a fry or a potato chip or a piece of cake. You have to want your life more. And so this is why I say it is simple, but it's not easy. Nothing I've said is complicated. It's just not easy. Okay. Now let's get to the actual medication of things. So I'm going to try and answer some questions about the medications first before I even get to the medication. Do you have to be on it for a lifetime? No, you don't have to be on it for a lifetime. It's all in how well you do. You do not have to do it for a lifetime, but you do have to do it for a while now. People are like, I don't want any medication. I want to do it natural. Have you been able to do it natural thus far, sis? Okay, well, you can't do it natural. Now, you ain't how well you do with the diet, how well you do with the exercise, it will minimize the time that you have to be on the medication. But at the end of the day, ain't nobody fitting to give you nothing to hurt you. Calm down. Okay. So there are two medications that I give. Now, and again, I told you I wasn't going to go into detail with this because I don't want anybody telling your doctor, okay, prescribe this for me because Dr. Tasha said this and blah, 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 blah. And I want this. And then they do it wrong and they're not managing it properly. And then, you don't get results or you start to have some type of issue and they don't know what the hell to do because it wasn't their treatment in the beginning. Okay. So the point is that, there are two different medications. One of the medications, if you look it up, people say, oh, that's a blood pressure medicine. That's a water pill. It really isn't. What's really, really interesting, whenever you have a reaction in the body, it's like a lock and key system, right? So when I told you about the testosterone and how it had all these effects and the acne and the hair growth and all of that. Well, it's a lock and key system. Well, for whatever reason, we don't really understand. But the lock for the testosterone prefers this medication over actual testosterone. So when we give you this medication, it actually starts to prevent all of those issues that you have due to elevated testosterone. Isn't that interesting? Yes, ma'am. Yes. So we give you that medication, and a lot of dermatologists even use it for acne, but I think that they don't really even understand the mechanism of why it works. So boom, there you go. So that's one of the things we do. Now, the other thing is really interesting because a lot of diabetics use the medication, blah, 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 blah. But I always check when I do your blood work for PCOS, my panel is like 3 pages. Okay. And the reason for that, I check for so many different things. I look at your entire adrenal system. Okay. The entire adrenal system. So I can actually see where the problem is because everybody is not PCOS. You may have another issue. I found somebody who had all the symptoms of PCOS who looked like PCOS, but she actually had a tumor that was producing testosterone. Crazy, right? So had I not looked, I wouldn't have found it. So I look, at the whole adrenal system. Okay. And then the second medication is really interesting because yes, they do give it to diabetics, but it has a different effect in your body. So if you are diabetic, it will drop your sugar. If you are not diabetic, it will drop your insulin. And what do we want? We want a decrease in the insulin. Bam. And it's interesting because this particular medication is really kind of looked at as the diet pill of the PCO because it helps with your cravings. It helps with your appetite. It actually helps get rid of all the excess waste, excess insulin, excess fluid, and it really does. Some people may have, loose stools, but loose stools is different than diarrhea. Diarrhea is, you sneeze, you pass gas, you fart, you pass gas. That's not what this is. It's like, ooh, I got to go to the bathroom. Well, you better go. You better find a bathroom and you better go because it's going to seem like a gallon coming out. And that's perfectly fine. It's getting rid of all the excess. I can take you anywhere from 2 pills a day to 5 pills a day. It really does depend on It depends on your progress. It depends on what you tell me. It depends on what your symptoms are. It depends on how your clothes are fitting. It depends on whether your period started. It depends on how much weight you've lost. It depends on what you tell me. And you know, it's all in what you tell me. I'm able to know how you're doing. I know when patients are lying. I know I've been doing it so long. I know when you're like, oh no, I'm doing great. I know when you're eating wrong, but you're trying to exercise and take the medication. I know when you're exercising and you're eating, but you're not taking the medication. I figured it all out. And, you know, I try to, you know, I will kind of, one of my patients is on here. You better get, cause I'm looking for you now. But at the end of the day, you know, I try not to attack you too much. I try and get to the root of the problem to say, like, why are we not doing this? Are you afraid of the medicine? Or even if it's not the medicine, are you having a difficult time eating right? Like, help me help you. Because I know it's a process, and you may have 2 great months and then fall off a month. And that's fine too. You know, let's just get back on it. So I try and help people understand what PCOS is and how their behavior and how the medicine and how all of the treatment plays into each other. So even if you say, yeah, it was a rough month, and let me tell you why it was a rough month, but I'm going to get back on it. That's fine. We all have rough months, even when it's not PCOS. Okay. So, you know, the reality of the situation is that a lot of people are searching for answers. Okay. A lot of people are searching for answers, but the reality is that they're not really getting the right answers from the people who they're searching for. And then God forbid you try to go to Google. God forbid that, you know, you try to go to Google and say, okay, well, what is this thing? I think I got this. Somebody said something about this. I think, because then you're going to get the wrong information. It's going to tell you you're never going to have a baby. You're infertile and you better take birth control pills because you're never going to have a normal period. And those things are not true. That is not true. PCOS is 100% it's 100% reversible if you get in front of it. Okay. So at the end of the day, if you're able to find a provider who's well-versed, and if you're in the north, like if you're in the North Corridor, see if you can find Shahab Manassian. But if you can't, if you're anywhere from Virginia down to Florida, you got the right here. Okay. So yes, we're accepting patients. Yes, you can. Unfortunately, like I said, this is very detailed, and I like for patients to understand exactly what I'm saying when it comes to PCO. So I really like to do the very first appointment in office. I'm drawing stuff. I'm doing this. I'm giving you notes. I'm giving you stuff to take home. So I really like to do it that way. But after that, after the initial appointment, yes, we can do telemedicine. We can follow up. But yes, I follow up every 5 weeks. If my patients are doing great, I'll give them 8 weeks. So I follow up on a regular basis, and it may change. Like I said, you know, I may take you up to 3 pills, and you know, the next month you do great. And I may say, let's stay with 3 for now. And then you're doing awesome. And I may drop you back to 2. So my goal is always to keep you on as less medication as possible with getting the best effect as possible. And just know that once your body is doing, once you've changed your life and you've changed your habits and your body is understanding what you need it to do, and you understand how to make your body do what it needs to do, then we wean you off the medicine. It's not like a life sentence. It's not any of those things. Okay. And so, like I said, once we kind of get the weight down, because even with weight loss, for every 10% of your body weight you lose. So that means, let's say you are 200 pounds, right? For every 20 pounds you lose, your fertility is multiplied times 4. So between the weight loss and the estrogen going up and the testosterone coming down and the periods regulating and us ovulating, patients tend to get pregnant. Like, usually it takes me about maybe 3 to 4 months to regulate your period, depending on how bad it is. I mean, some people have it bad. I never let my patients go more than 3 months without a period. Yes, I can induce a period. I can make you have a period if you haven't had a period. Usually I'll leave it be. I want the body to do its thing itself. If you've gone past 3 months, if you've gotten to the 4th month, then I'm going to make you I'm going to make you have a period, and then I'm going to leave you alone until another 3 or 4 months. But usually it takes me about anywhere between 3 and 5 months to regulate you where you're having regular periods if you're doing what you're supposed to do in treatment. Okay, so that is it. I hope you guys have gotten all your questions answered. I hope that it has given you more direction on PCOS. And there's a lot of PCOS support groups. I don't know what those people are saying. I don't look at that kind of stuff. I deal with the facts and the medicine and all of that good stuff and what my patients are actually going through. I talk to them about that, and I deal with the medicine and the physiology of it all. I don't really get into blog sites and things like that because a lot of people, they get into a bad space in their life, and if they still can't get pregnant, well, then again, what is the provider that you're seeing? What is your treatment? And it may not be PCO. Like, we may fix the PCO and you still have fertility issues, but then they all angry and they make you feel like you ain't ever gonna get pregnant. So my thing is that I'm funny about blogs and things like this. Yes, I'm going to try and save the live. Y'all know I'm not tech savvy at all, but I am going to try and save the live. So that is the point of what I'm trying to say, but reach out and get information. Somebody asked me who the doctor was in the Northeast. He is in Reading, Pennsylvania. He actually was the person that trained me. His name is Shahab. It's Shahab. Manassian, baby. I'm not spelling that. It's Minassian. I don't know. Manassian. But I'm not sure. He's in Reading, Pennsylvania. If you put in Dr. Shahab in Reading, it should come up because it ain't that many Shahabs in Reading, really. But again, Shahab is very colorful, very interesting, but he's good at what he does. Okay. So I'm going to go, y'all. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my holiday. I hope this gave everybody what they needed. I hope you have a little bit more direction and a little bit more hope. If you are seeing a doctor and you're not getting what you need, from treatment, I just hope this gives you all the information to either possibly go to that doctor and say, hey, listen, let me understand something. And if you seem like you understand more than they understand, then that's a little bit of a red flag. And at the end of the day, we would love to see you at Atlanta Premiere. So enjoy the rest of your holiday, y'all. I'm going to enjoy the rest of mine, get a little bit more of this sunlight. I hope it was a good holiday weekend for y'all, and have a good week, okay? And yes, I'm going to try and save this right now, okay? All right, y'all. Bye.